Today we're talking about YouTube Music and whether or not it can actually compete with the other biggest streaming platforms. In my Spotify versus Apple Music video that I uploaded last year, I was shocked by how many people asked about YouTube Music in the comments. So I decided I'd try it out. I've been using it for about the past week or so, and here are my thoughts. So let's start with the layout and design. On the mobile app, it's actually very similar to Spotify. So it has a 3-tab interface with Home, Explore, and Library tabs. I find the interface to be pretty self-explanatory and easy to navigate. I do prefer this interface over Apple Music's interface, which is a little bit clunkier in my opinion. So I would put YouTube Music just about right on par with Spotify in terms of being able to find something quickly and just navigate smoothly. I think YouTube Music really nailed the player screen. You can easily like or dislike any song you come across to continue to feed that algorithm and fine-tune your suggestions. I also love the related tab you can tap on to find similar songs and playlists. But in terms of pure aesthetics, I wouldn't say it's the best looking interface, which is obviously subjective, but I find it a little bit bland in comparison to Spotify and Apple Music. I'm also not a huge fan of the preset genres at the top of the homepage. I wish those could be disabled in settings or at least customized to genres that I listen to more frequently. And then there's the desktop experience, which isn't the best. YouTube Music doesn't have a true desktop application, unlike Apple Music and Spotify. There is a progressive web app on Chrome that's more or less identical to the regular YouTube Music website, so I really don't see any reason to use that. You also don't have the ability to download music on desktop. You can only do that on the mobile app at the moment. And lastly, you don't have the universal control feature that Spotify has where you can control what you're playing on your desktop from your phone and vice versa. That's really one of the most underrated Spotify features, and Apple Music and YouTube Music have yet to be able to replicate it. In terms of custom content, I really like the mixes that YouTube Music auto-generates. Normally it mixes a couple of artists you listen to that have a similar style, and it fills the playlist with similar music that you may or may not have heard before. It's kind of like daily mixes from Spotify, if you're familiar with those. As for other mixes, Replay Mix is a mix of your most played songs over the last few weeks. Discover Mix is kind of like Discover Weekly from Spotify, which is fantastic. Probably my favorite way of finding new music. And then the new release mix is, well, new releases from artists that you listen to. And for offline listening, YouTube Music offers the offline mixtape. This is an auto-generated mix of music based on your listening history. You can choose for it to be anywhere between 1 and 100 songs, and it updates every 24 hours, so you'll always have something to listen to when you don't have connection. That's a really cool feature that I would love to see on Spotify and Apple Music. And beyond all this custom created content, YouTube Music has a lot of their own generated playlists. And you know which ones those are because of the YouTube logo on the cover. You'll see playlists for different moods, different decades, and different popular artists. A lot of what makes YouTube Music so unique in comparison to some of the other streaming apps is that it has the larger YouTube platform to work with. This ends up playing a huge role in terms of music videos, what types of songs you're able to listen to, and song recommendations. So let's start with music videos, and YouTube Music has a huge advantage here. Pretty much any song that has a music video on YouTube will have that video available in the YouTube Music player, and you can just switch between the song and the video whenever you want. On Apple Music, you have to go to the dedicated music video section to view music videos, and Spotify doesn't even have music videos at all. So YouTube Music is the clear winner here. And since you have basically the entire YouTube library to work with, you get access to types of songs that might not be available on other platforms, like remixes, covers, and live performances. Basically, if it's classified as music, it'll be on the YouTube Music app, and you can add that to your library and playlists. So that's a really nice benefit. And lastly, song recommendations. So I mentioned in my Spotify versus Apple Music video that Spotify is pretty much the king when it comes to recommendations. Their algorithm just works so well, and it's really easy to find new songs that I like. Well, thankfully, YouTube Music isn't far behind. Their recommendations are pretty on point, And I think that has a lot to do with its connection to regular YouTube videos. It basically works with the YouTube algorithm, so it knows what types of videos you've watched in the past, and it uses that information to recommend you music that might be associated with your interests. So for example, I've been catching up on the Euphoria TV show recently, and I've watched some clips from YouTube here and there. And when I first opened the YouTube Music app, it recommended me songs from the show. Of course, this will only work if you're using the same account between regular YouTube and YouTube Music. Because of this, it's one of the easiest streaming apps to get started with, and you'll be finding music that you like in no time. So what is YouTube Music missing? First off, no hi-fi streaming. So for any audiophiles out there, you will get the highest quality audio from Apple Music. They introduced lossless quality audio a little over 6 months ago. Spotify has had hi-fi streaming rumored for months now, but they haven't given any official word on when that might come out. And YouTube Music seemingly has no plans so far when it comes to hi-fi streaming. With all that being said, as someone who listens to music primarily over Bluetooth, missing out on hi-fi doesn't really affect me. Then we have live lyrics. YouTube Music lyrics are just this solid block of text, whereas Apple Music has had these beautiful real-time lyrics for years now, and Spotify actually just recently got the update to support live lyrics as well. YouTube Music is also lacking in the social aspect when compared to the other apps. You can't actually search for people's profiles, so if you wanted to find one of your friends' profiles, you would have to search for a public playlist they created, or they would have to just send you their link. And even then, there's no way to actually follow your friends, so you can't keep up with what they're listening to. YouTube Music really needs to fix this feature soon because I know that can be pretty important to some people. And the last thing we have to talk about is pricing. So just like Spotify and Apple Music, YouTube Music's standard plan will cost you $9.99 a month. They also have a student plan available for $4.99 a month and a family plan with up to 5 devices for $14.99 a month. But then there's the YouTube Premium plan, and that's different than just the regular YouTube Music Premium plan. And this is where things get interesting. YouTube Premium will run you about $11.99 a month, so just $2 more than Music Premium. And with that plan, you'll be getting full access to Music Premium plus these additional benefits. You'll get ad-free content across all of YouTube, background play so you can listen to videos in other apps and when your phone screen is turned off, and you'll get access to downloads for YouTube videos. It's also worth mentioning that students can get access to YouTube Premium for just $6.99 a month, which is an amazing value. So for anyone considering YouTube Music Premium, it's pretty much a no-brainer to pay just $2 more for all those additional benefits. So is YouTube Music worth it? Well, for the standard plan, I still prefer Spotify and Apple Music. Both of those apps just seem more polished. They have the live lyrics, which are great, and the social aspects of both of those are miles ahead of YouTube Music. The only true advantages I believe YouTube Music has are music videos and access to alternative versions of songs that might not be available on the other two platforms. So if you think you would get use out of those features, or if you already watch a ton of YouTube videos and could take advantage of those other premium benefits, then the $11.99 premium plan is still very competitive and provides a ton of value for the price. I hope this video helped you decide whether YouTube Music was right for you. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.